Alright, so I want to get something out of the way before we begin today, this week. Let's address the elephant in the room here. And for once, it's not that I haven't been here every week this season, so that's a plus. Instead, it's the fact that I'm no longer a production assistant, and, it's probably my personal worst. 3 months. Actually, no, scratch that. My personal worst is actually 5 days at Walmart, so, not the fact that I was only working there 5 days, but the fact that I was at Walmart. So, sorry, retail. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Rob Rodriguez, and have we got a show for you? Because I'm here this week. Yep, we just put new meaning to a phrase that usually means, hey, we've got a great show. But if we have a show in general, then I've got a show for you. Does that count? Yeah, let's say that counts. So I know how it is. I'm sure you know how it is too. Decision making is kind of difficult. I mean, think about TV, for instance. You got thousands of channels to choose from now. But back in the olden days, I hear rumors that there used to only be 3 channels. Scary, right? That is such a scary reality. That's scarier than how my hair looks right now. Just imagine, now that we have all these choices, sure, you can watch ESPN, but what if the other person wants to watch Animal Planet or Sci-Fi? And you got that one guy in his 20s who still watches Nick and Disney and Cartoon Network. Hey, I want to see Teen Titans go to the movies, so I gotta do my research. First off, you'd be wasting your time, but that is my opinion, and I don't even watch Cartoon Network, so I don't really have a say. There's another way to decide on things, and if this involves multiple people, then you have to vote. You have to vote on what you want to do, what you want to see, who, what, when, where, why. Yeah. And sometimes voting isn't fair, but you know what? You know what they say, if a majority agreed upon one thing, even if they judged it by the cover and not by the actual content of the product. Well, actually, either way, that does sound kind of unfair, now that I think about it. But hey, just because the vote was 2 to 16, the 2 can't go around and say, oh, that is so rigged. We could have done this a different way. I mean, it's never nice to be forced to make a decision quickly. Because, MTV used to have these dating shows, like Parental Control, Next, Room Raiders, all those shows. You gotta make a choice pretty quickly of who you wanna end up with. I say end up with because, it's MTV, so very rash decisions there. I mean, with occasions like that, which chances are you're not gonna be on TV, but in real life, you do have choices that have to happen quickly, especially because you have such a short amount of time. I mean, life moves pretty fast. I mean, take your time is what I suggest. Take your time. It's not like it's the end of the world if you don't make your decision in 20 seconds. Doing this topic was a pretty good choice on my behalf. I mean, just imagine if I've had many other choices. I could have just stood here quietly with one of these things and then said, I'm going to need a minute. But I'm not going to do that. Without chicken in hand, I will say we have a lot of show to fill. So that being said, I'm going to need a minute. So I don't know, during these extensive unpaid vacation days I take on the Rob Rodriguez show, I notice I'm adapting more to today's culture. Like just the other day, an Elvive commercial was playing. I Shazammed it, and what do you know? It's Camila Cabello. And I'm like, I know in the past I've said some pretty I've taken some jabs at Fifth Harmony in the past. I've even taken jabs at some people's solo careers. Zayn from One Direction, Camila Cabello from Fifth Harmony. Separating from the group. And, you know, I gotta take a lot of stuff back when I was the old school guy, you know, collecting videotapes, DVDs, still that guy. But you know what, I'm more flexible these days. And with the music coming out, like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, just let it be. And maybe someday I'll meet you in the middle. It's time for that weekly list known as the possibility list. It's kind of like when you weigh yourself. Are you really surprised? Alright, this week's list is titled 4 Phrases That Are Just Not the Same in Monotone. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, you know those people who have like no expression to their voice at all? I mean, take Ben Stein, take Eugene Levy. Like, they're iconic voices, sure. But just imagine hearing Bueller on a 10-hour loop. That might cure your insomnia. Alright, so number 4. Goal. Number 3. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look once in a while, you could miss it. Number 2. I saved 15% on my car insurance. And number 1, 4 phrases that are just not the same in monotone. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. Alright, and that is the possibility list for you this week. Well, that is the show for you this week. You know to follow me on social media. Until next time, please check out the second channel. Do whatever you can. Before you know it, who knows? I may or may not bring the Minute Show back. Mondays on that channel. Maybe. Okay, so, see you soon.